Hey, tonight we are here with Jeff and Katie from Blood of the Earth, on the Earth,
Of the Earth.
of the Earth. Okay. That's what I thought. I was just looking at it and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, Blood of the Earth. Yeah.
yep. All right. So, um, first, how did you all meet?
We actually met on Facebook first. We were in like an online band at one point together, um, with one of our friends, Parker, who's actually mixing this stuff now. And then we met in person on tour in Europe 2019. I was playing bass for 6 Feet Under. Convalescence was opening, and Katie was playing keyboards with them.
Yep.
So we officially met in person in the Netherlands in December 2019.
Well, that's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, we met
Yeah.
the other part of the earth.
Yep.
So that must have been a really cool tour just as a whole, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. It was pretty much close to being sold out every night. It was only 10 days, but it was a great tour. I've done probably like 5 or 6 tours with 6 Feet Under, filled in with them for I think 3 or 4 different times, stage managed for them, tour managed, and probably for 2000, 2011 is when I started working on and off with them.
Okay.
Last time I actually played on any tour was the 2019 Christmas in Hell.
Well, yeah, and then like COVID hit and everything went there.
Thought everything was
Yeah,
going back on track, and then
Yeah.
months later, nope, had to get the
Just kidding.
yeah,
pretty
Yeah.
much. That's
had to
what.
get the grown up
Yeah,
job.
Yeah. It sucks being a grown up sometimes. Like, so Katie's a nurse, right?
I am. I specialize in wound care, so all the nasty, gory stuff. That's my bread and butter. I've been a nurse for 12 years now. I've been doing wound care for almost 4 years. So it's actually a lot of people ask me about how I was able to balance nursing and then touring with my former band and how I'm still doing music now. Um, very carefully.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
carefully.
There's 24 hours in a day and you get to sleep like 3.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Well, especially with as much as you guys are like pumping out of the new material. You guys are what, like 7, 8 songs in now?
We have 6 that are pretty much done. We're waiting for, I think, the fifth one to be mastered, and we have a friend from England, Sam Kelly Wallace. He was in Valenfire, Strigoi, and he's in a band called Gates of the Fall. And I met him back when I was in Crowbar. He came to one of the shows in London, and we just kept in touch. And we always talked about doing something together. So he's doing like a guest spot on the 6th song. So we're getting that track soon and having that mixed with
Hell
the
yeah.
seventh one in the works, but that'll be for the next release or EP.
Right on. Well, that's cool. I really enjoy technology and how you have the ability to record with someone right across the world without having to like mail something to them and wait for it to come back.
That's initially how this project started. When we met in 2019, we became close friends, and he sent me some songs that he had worked on, and asked, "Hey, could you put keyboards to this?" And I said, "Of course, yeah, I definitely would love to give it a try." And that was the first song that we worked together. It's going to be called Origins. Well, the Origin. That's going to be one of the songs on the 6 song EP that we're going to release a little bit later on.
Hell
So
yeah.
kind of the song that got it started. I figured out his writing style and what he wanted to do as far as music goes, and I was able to combine my writing skills and learn how to program drums in the process. So we finally got a product together, and we're very excited about it.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear it because I love doom and atmospheric shit. Um, and I know that's, part of how you guys describe what
Yeah.
this is. I'm
I was using the term doom. I was trying to get a band going. I said doom, but it really wasn't like straight doom. It was just doom elements, sludge elements, stoner rock, atmospheric, basically everything that we like to listen to, put it together and create our own kind of sound. If you can do that, I
yes.
guess anymore. So blend all the elements together.
Hell yeah. Well, I think that's where a lot of really good shit comes from. I'm a big fan of spotlights and I feel like they have a lot of those elements too. It's like, fuck.
Yes. Spotlights was an influence with us. We saw them at the Orpheum in Tampa probably back in April.
Last year,
Um,
yeah.
One of our friends from New York was down, and he asked us if we wanted to go with him, so we met up there. And first time I heard them, and they were really heavy live and different kind of blends of music.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it
turns
was.
out I actually knew the drummer a little bit because he worked for Revolver,
Yep.
and I was in Crowbar South by Southwest. He was there, so I hung out with him there, and then I recognized him after he got off the stage. I'm like, hey, I kind of know you already. But he's friends with our friend from New York that owns Lucky 13, so that's how we all kind of ended up at that show.
Right on.
Well,
But yeah, it really is. And all those folks in Spotlights are super cool. They rank up there as like one of my favorite bands. Probably my favorite right now. I don't know, I think I saw them play 6 or 7 times this year, and it's
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
they seemed really busy. They
yeah.
were We were really impressed when we saw them. Just the style, the heaviness.
Yep.
I think we had 16 pedals for a pedal board.
Yeah, I don't even know, but we saw them in this one of the shows was 50 people jam packed in this little tiny room, and it got rowdy, and Mario's like,
Yeah.
"Hold on, you guys got to back up. I got all this equipment." People are like, "What the hell?" They're all drunk and wasted. Uh it
Was
was a
that in Kentucky?
yeah, yeah. Um where'd all that so I've this year I saw him in LA at the Palladium with Mr. Bungle and the Melvins.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that would have been a good show to see. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
it was fantastic. Then we saw him in that Kaiju here in Louisville, which was like 50 people, right? There was so much body odor and beer. It was crazy. And then uh Columbus and Detroit. Maybe Cincinnati too? So maybe 5 times this year.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Uh, yeah, they're great. I mean, and I just like live music. So, I mean, I like when I met Katie, we did it was the Convalescence and Battlecross.
It was
Okay.
that 3-day Halloween weekend, I believe. That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. It was a short run, but I had a really good time. I mean, all the bands were great to hang out with. I got to see a lot of friends in the Midwest, which I think that's unfortunately the one thing I do miss about touring is being able to see friends and family and everyone across the country. So all my Midwest friends I haven't seen in a while, and I kind of miss seeing some faces up there. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you don't tour, you really miss that part of it. Um, so you guys are 6 songs in, just waiting on number 6 to be finished. What's the timeline for
Uh, for like a release
yeah,
way. Next month we're gonna start releasing probably what, like one a week or so.
hmm
Just do like have enough songs for EP, but kind of stagger the release a little bit.
okay.
I've kind of noticed a trend over the years that CDs are kind of a thing of a past. You don't really listen to an album from cover to cover unless it's a really well known band or someone that you've followed for many years. A lot of things now are just people want the singles. So we want to release it in a single fashion, even though it's all going to be the same EP. It's going to be kind of an experiment to do it, but we we're breaking a lot of rules in writing the music we're writing. It's very different. It's got so many different styles and elements, but it's still uniquely us. And our approach with music is also uniquely us. We want to do something different than what we had done in the past. Of course, Jeff with Crowbar, myself with the Convalescence. It was a very, regimented, guidelined, hey, we're going to do things a certain way. But we want to approach this project entirely different and pretty much on our own terms. So we're going to do some videos for each song. We're going to get some artwork together for the whole album or the EP and kind of just see where it goes from there.
Hell yeah. I think that's a really good plan, especially like in current times where everything's about like content creation, right?
Mhm.
There's I've got a buddy that manages a lot of not a lot, some larger artists And that's what they do. A lot of the contracts that they sign aren't based on like actual albums. They're based on recordings. So every song is like a recording.
Pretty much. I think that's kind of the way the trend is, as you said, like you've noticed that as well. So, I mean, at this point, we're trying to ride that social media wave. We're not doing any shows currently right now because we're still avidly looking for a guitar player and a drummer to, play shows with us regionally. Even, we potentially want to tour and go back to Europe. That's where we met, and we absolutely loved that European circuit. We loved just the environment over there, and that's ultimately our goal. But we're taking it step at a time right now.
Well, that's all you can do, right? Like what I've heard of the project, I really enjoy.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, the my favorite shows were over like Desert Fest London, Desert Fest Berlin, like that doomy stoner rock sludge atmosphere at the festivals out there. So that's what my goal's been for years now, to get back over there to do some of them fest again.
And here you are about to make it all happen.
Yeah. We just got to hopefully find a couple more people, but right now we're just doing everything ourselves and um, looking. If we find someone cool, we're not like pushing it too hard right now. We want to release the music and then let people know, hear what we're doing. And like if we get a guitar player, or when we get a guitar player and drummer, the music will change a little bit. Like they'll have the freedom to add their guitar parts, or drummer, like have a drummer play it like a drummer would, instead of trying to figure out how to program it.
Yeah.
So it's the songs probably will change a little bit, but right now this is the style to show people like this is what we've been working on. This is what our style is, but it might change a little bit here and there, but it'll be that same direction with all those elements mixed together.
Well, sure. I mean, we look at almost any band, right? That's had new members come in, and there's always like an organic change. Um,
Mhm.
I say always, there's always an organic change when they're allowed input, you
Right. Yeah,
know?
I've been in that situation before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Megadeth. There's never really been an organic change. Dave's always like, nope, this is what it is. Like, okay.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, with us, we want everybody that becomes a part of it to have their input, have their say. It's treated like, if a band's four people, then four people should have that influence or input or, creativity in the mix. Like if I write a riff, I've done it plenty of times where I play it, I'm just like, nope, I don't like it. Just toss it, or, have everybody just put something on the table. If it doesn't work, doesn't work. If it works, awesome.
Yeah. Well, and if even though something goes on the table today, you still got it down the road,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Change
No,
around a little bit.
I'll
And
always tell you, save that riff. We'll come
yeah.
back to that. We'll save it. Let's do something else, but hold on to that. Hold
Yep.
on to that idea.
These are actually the first songs I've ever written in my life. I've had computers and hard drives full of just random riffs, but these are the first ones that we actually sat down and pieced together, where it wasn't like random riffs, kind of like Black Sabbath transitions, where sometimes it goes to something that doesn't even make any sense, but it works for them. This one
Yeah.
actually, everything flowed together. Well, it wasn't just my random riffs thrown together like it has been in the past.
Hey, random riffs sometimes make some great songs,
Yep.
you
So
know?
Yeah, like a couple of the Sabbath riffs that completely different, but they pulled it off. And not saying that we're going to sound like Sabbath, but that kind of, just piecing all your stuff together.
Yeah. Well, and Sabbath is, I think, such a huge influence for about every metal band out there,
definitely.
It's hard not to give a nod to them constantly.
Yeah. Make a little
Um,
sense.
yeah. So, all right. What, Jeff, what started you playing music?
I was 13. I started playing guitar. I've always wanted to do it when I was a little kid. I wanted to play guitar, but my school band didn't have it, so I played saxophone. Ended up selling my saxophone stuff to get a bass cab, and I bought a bass for my brother. Um, Reason I switched to bass was because my friend had a band, like so-called band when you're in eighth grade, ninth grade, guitar player and a drummer, didn't have a bass player, so I was like, I'll be the bass player. Switched over to bass and just kind of stayed with it. I like playing bass more than guitar.
All right. How
I
about
learned
you?
Me, I've been playing piano since I was about 5 years old. My friend's mom was a pianist, and I heard her play, and I told my mom, "Hey, I want to do that. I want to do that." So my mom set me up with one of those little tiny, tiny Casio keyboards and found me a piano teacher, and I took lessons for quite a while. But then around middle school, guitar was the cool thing, so I quit piano, tried learning guitar. I can play guitar. I can't play it well, but I can play it. Then I ended up going back to piano, and I sat down and I just started writing music. And around that time, middle school, high school, I got into listening to metal, heavy metal, death metal, industrial, all kinds of different musical avenues opened up. And I, of course, loved Evanescence, and I saw, wow, she's a amazing vocalist, the piano sounds with the metal, it just definitely influenced me. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be able to do something like that. And I worked very hard to balance, a nursing career and music, and the opportunity came up. I graduated nursing school, and I joined the Convalescence. They were hitting the road in 2014, and I said, take me with you. I'm down.
So, and how long were you with them?
9 years, actually, 9 years.
Okay.
It was a good 9 years, but I just felt that it was I needed to do something different with my life. Um, COVID definitely, I think, affected everybody, but
Yeah.
uh, having gone from touring a lot to just being stuck in one fixed spot, and also working as a nurse, seeing everything that was going on firsthand, it really affected me in ways that kind of broadened my perspective about what I should be doing with my time and with my life. And I felt that if something's not serving me, then I shouldn't hold on to it. I need to, surround myself with things that are important to me and that serve a purpose for me. So here I am.
Think it's worked out. Obviously, I follow both you guys on social media, and I think you guys are a really awesome couple.
Crazy.
I,
You.
I think everything's really coming together, and a lot of that, I firmly believe that, we plug along, and sometimes we find that right person, and that right person, whether they really push us or just having that connection, it helps us get to that next level, right?
No, and I can definitely say I never attempted to write drums. I've never attempted to learn drums. That was just something my brain couldn't really process. I was more focused on keyboards. But after hearing what Jeff was doing and seeing, okay, well, you found this loop online. Let me see if I can listen to it and recreate something for us to use, something that's unique for what we need. And I can honestly say you pushed me to do some musical things I never expected to do. And I hope I taught you a few music things too
Yeah,
along the way.
I'm the musician term used loosely. Katie knows the technical stuff, and I've always been. I don't know any theory. I don't know any notes. I just hit strings until I think it sounds good,
It does sound good.
and it's worked so far. So
Yeah, that's me too, right? Like I can play a little bit. You ask me what note, I'm like, I just
yeah,
play.
I don't know. I don't know theory. Like time signatures. Like if someone's playing drums, I can play along with them. But I couldn't tell you a note or any time signatures. I just play what I play what I feel like playing. Play what I think sounds good.
But surprisingly enough, you fall into a really good pattern. You have a method of the way you write your stuff, and it works perfectly. I know enough music theory to break all the rules, and I know enough to where I can see patterns in how people are playing. And Jeff always has a very specific pattern that I can just fall right in the pocket when it comes to writing. So it's made it pretty effortless. I mean, figuring out where to put certain riffs, of course, but it's been a good experience being able to live together, write together, adventure, do whatever we want together. And it's I think more enriching and fulfilling to also be able to create music together too.
Oh, for
Yeah, we
sure.
have rooms. Actually, right behind us there is a little kind of makeshift studio, just a couple computers, studio monitors, and there's an 810 bass cab in there that really has no reason to be in there, but it was on sale for $600 at Guitar Center, so I had to buy it. And sometimes the this shelf
Actually,
right up
yeah.
here falls off the wall sometimes, but that's only happened once, but sometimes we catch it before.
Yeah, you never
So
know. I've seen it shift a little bit. So
we were actually playing Fortunate Son. We were listening to Clutch and playing the Clutch version of it, and I guess the bass just rattled it right off the wall one night.
Oh,
It's
that's
it's pretty cool to have, just go one room over and start working on music when you feel like you don't have to drive to a band room or worry about paying for studio rent. Just Friday nights, want to go in there and play? Go ahead. When Katie went to work, it was a couple weeks ago. I wrote the seventh song just sitting in that room. I got off work early and just started writing, and that one has more of like a Caius down, I guess, influences on it. So
okay.
that where it shifts to the next EP, different. Um, I won't say different styles, but just different. I guess it would,
Influences.
yeah, different influences, but it's the same stuff that I've been listening to. So it's just kind of shifting into that. So each song has a different feel to it as it is now. So we're just trying to not really have any rules to it. Just play what we like, play what we've been influenced by, and not kind of be confined to that label like stoner rock or doom or I'll say death metal. We don't have any death metal
no,
elements
but
in there. There's no labels on it. It's just people call it whatever they want. We just play what we feel, I guess.
Just play it.
Yeah,
That reminds me of like Foo Fighters,
yeah,
oh
just
yeah.
right? Because they whatever they want to play, it might sound country, it might sound. I mean, they had what is it, the Dream Widow album that came out.
the Studio Six
And
Six
that
Six
was
movie.
amazing.
Yeah,
I still
Yeah,
like that album. It's
yeah.
really
It's cool. And he's another one, Dave's another one. Like he can't read music. He can just play,
yep,
on. I think some of the best musicians are the ones that just have the feeling for it. They
yes,
just they don't have to have all the heavy book work behind them to just know this fits, this sounds well, and it works. I mean, I've had that where I've tried to explain it to people. I'm like, I don't know, it just sounds good. Let's roll with it.
no
yeah.
rules.
No rules, yeah.
Shouldn't be. It's music. It's art, right?
We don't want to get
Exactly.
off of work and then go start working again. Just want to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
That's usually our Friday nights. Once I'm off of work, then yeah, we just kick back, eat some junk food, and just play some music, write music. We enjoy doing random covers here and there. Just, oh hey, yeah, play that riff. Let me put something to it. So we just get creative with a whole bunch of things, really.
Yeah, one of the stuff we're doing now is Katie has that project Crimson Key, which is her solo stuff. Some of it has like a trip hop Portishead kind of feel to it. So we're actually doing a Sweating Bullets cover with that like lounge type drum
Lounge,
beat.
jazz lounge
Yeah.
style.
Oh God, I want to hear that.
Yeah, we're
It's
hoping
a
to,
work in progress. I still have to figure out the arrangement of it because when I did Crimson Key, it was basically it was my solo stuff.
I gotta
Oh,
grab the charger real quick.
oh, but yeah, the Crimson Key, it was one of those. I had a bunch of solo music that I hadn't had a chance to release because of COVID. My computer crapped out. I lost stuff. I had to rewrite it. Then, of course, with the band, I was, more focused on promoting that stuff. Now I had the chance to, hey, this is me. This is what I do. I was able to release it, but the only problem I ran into was it wasn't metal. It was just ambient trip hop pop music. Basically, it was a different genre that I'd ever done, and all the people I knew in music were in death metal, deathcore, heavier genres. So when I'd ask, "Hey, do you have any idea how I could, promote this or get this out there?" It was a lot more challenging than I anticipated for that reason, because all the networking I had was in an entirely different spot. But it was still fun. It was still great because Jeff actually played bass for it. He helped me with the guitars, and I got to say that I released music, and well, we got to release music that I finally had the chance to do. Now it's Jeff's turn. This is all the stuff that he's worked on that I've helped, helped him get together, and now it's your turn to get your stuff out.
Yeah, and this one we actually, we have people that listen to this type of music or can fill in or not fill them, like guest spot and push it back over, hopefully over to Europe and UK.
Yeah.
To get back to that scene.
It'll probably be a lot easier to network and promote this type of music because of just the group of people that we know. And that's what we're hoping for, fingers crossed, that it gains a lot of traction, and a lot of people are, able to help us by sharing it, promoting it, talking about it, listening to it. And we've got t-shirts that Jeff's screen printing. This is 100% DIY. So
right
we'll get your address and we'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right.
But this is pretty much 100% DIY. We want to be as independent as possible because it's a way to, express our creativity in our own way. So it's, regardless, it's fulfilling in that aspect.
Well, that, and you don't have to conform to someone else's timeline or whatever that is either, right?
Exactly.
That's I feel like everyone I talk to that's signed, that's always been the biggest complaint, is it goes from being our thing and our timeline to someone else's thing and their timeline, and then then it's like we just got to keep pumping stuff out. Well, shit, let's just do it on our time.
Yep. That's actually why I'm focused on working for myself right now, just so we can get this out there and promote this and try to at least get to the summertime and keep pushing it and see what happens with my work situation when that comes along. But right now I'm sticking with, self-employment to try to focus on the music stuff instead of like talking about it for a number of years. Like I kept saying, I'm going to get this going, and there was always roadblocks or, got sidetracked somewhere along the way. But this year is the one I decided to, actually we started last year, but
I think we both kind of had that fire lit to really push it this year. After, I think last year we enjoyed our time. We enjoyed realizing what we are capable of writing and getting together. And we had, kind of a game plan in mind. But I think this year is the one where we have a good stress of, okay, we got to get this done. We got to work on this song. We got to email Parker, figure out what's up with the next song. We got to, it's a bunch of tasks, but the only deadlines we have are the good stresses upon ourselves that we want to do this. We want it to go somewhere. So we've got to get that motivation to get there and do it. But at least it's not like, oh, by next Tuesday you have to have, no. Like, I can't do deadlines like that. No, I don't want to have that kind of stress.
And last year we started writing, a good chunk of the songs. And then towards the end of the year, Katie figured out the drum program. And so we're able to, probably like maybe
middle of the year.
Yeah, about summer, end of summer is when we started getting it rolling. We're piecing everything together. I said, wow, this actually sounds like, a real song now instead of just me playing the metronome, which I'm not a huge fan of, like anything technical. I'm still trying to figure out, like our friend helped us out with Reaper. Vinny up in Connecticut, he would remote go into the computer and, give me little pointers on how to do it because I'm not a studio guy. I've always been more of the live shows. Studio to me is too tedious, but it's, necessary evil. So we're learning. Well, I'm learning little by little with, help of friends, and Katie understands it more because she was doing Mixcraft stuff, and I got the Reaper program on my computer. So
at least with,
see how it goes.
Yeah, with keyboard stuff, I usually write stuff out MIDI, so I can have an idea, and almost kind of like sheet music in a way. I can have a song written, and then I go back and learn it on piano, and then figure out how to structure the samples, the sounds, the tones, and everything else into having it played. So using software, using stuff like that, I'm not a stranger to. But as far as like the mixing mastering process, there's a science behind, sound frequencies, sound waves. And if you don't get the mix right, well, you're going to lose quality of certain instruments. So once it's at that level where it needs to be mixed, that's when we call our friends in and have to get that input, because I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm clueless with it all. I'll play, and someone says, "Oh, you got to turn it down to -5," and I turn it down. I Whatever people tell
Is
me
it
how to do
mono or
it. Yeah,
stereo?
I
Did
don't
you
know.
bounce it? Oh no.
Just play it.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know it.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
know that's always got me right every time going in the studio. They're like, "What do you think about this?" I'm like, "Sounds okay. I don't know."
yeah, that like the fine detail stuff. I've never been one to be able to pick out like this sounds a little too high or too low, and I've always just liked the live shows. So hopefully we get this on track to do some live shows. Hopefully we can find a couple, preferably local people, just so we can get together. Even up in Orlando, there's some good musicians up there. So it's only without traffic, it's like an hour, 20 minutes, hour, 30 minutes. With
That's
traffic, like 3.5 hours. So
oh
depends.
God.
Yeah,
But
it's rough, but
we always call it Disney traffic because that's most of the time what it is, especially when we're leaving for Tampa to get to Orlando. It's usually the tourist trap and all the tourists that kind of bottleneck everything. But
Yeah, well, I feel like most of the tourists have like moved down to Florida at this point.
yeah, they do. So
uh,
I mean, I'm guilty. I am a transplant, but I try not to be as bad as some of the others.
I'm not originally from here, but I came down like 2010, moved to New Orleans for a couple of years, and then came back. So been here a little longer, but yeah, I'm still not a local guy. So I guess I'm
Yeah, it's okay. I feel like it's been real bad with people moving to Florida over the last, I don't know, probably 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
I know
Mhm.
I started doing home inspection 3 years ago, and the last 2 years was just I was doing two a day. Did about 1,000 homes in little under 2 years, and we were had I think like 12 to 15 inspectors that had that amount of work the whole year. So you figure, and that's just one company.
Yeah.
So thousands of people coming in, and hopefully, we thought maybe we could find a drummer or guitar player with all those thousands of people, but we're still networking. Our friend had that bar Born Free that was putting on a lot of shows, and that unfortunately closed down. There's a benefit this Saturday at the venue, the Orpheum. So there's a lot of local musicians and a lot of tour musicians that come through here. We just have to, network a little more to see who's into this style of music or heard
Yeah.
of this music. There's a lot of hardcore here, which I wasn't really aware of until we started working at Born Free. It's a lot of hardcore bands, really good hardcore bands, a lot of younger kids doing it too.
Mhm.
So we're trying to, network and see what other genres are in the
I,
area.
I feel like that's a really big thing right now is hardcore. I know here, Knocked Loose took off. I
Yeah.
don't know, they're from probably 20 or 30 miles from me. And they blew up and everything here now
Yeah,
is hardcore this and hardcore that. And I'm like, the the shows are great. Like they are so
yeah,
lively.
High
well,
energy
yeah, high
and they
energy.
get
That's what I was thinking.
wild.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
from Connecticut, so I saw not the beginning stages of, but like when Hatebreed was starting to get big, and then Sworn Enemy played there a lot, and a lot of blood has been shed. A lot of like the local at the time bands. So I'm
Yeah.
familiar with that scene, and now I'm starting to see down here the younger kids are getting into it too, which is cool.
Yeah. I miss a lot of I mean, I still listen to a lot of like the New York hardcore.
Yeah,
I love Sick of It All. I don't even know why, but I absolutely love them.
yeah,
S- Like so great. I wanted for years to see them live, and they just came through with Life of Agony
uh-huh.
last year, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going, and I went, and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know?
That was 2 years ago. What was it, 2020? Like almost 2 years ago.
The,
Finally got to see Clutch. It was a hurricane was coming through,
oh
so
yeah.
we thought it was going to be canceled. It was in Orlando. We drove up there anyway, and it was still going on. Even House of Blues had a sign. The show was still on. So we're going.
Right
Everyone,
on.
everyone's messaging us. You guys evacuate? And said, yeah. to Disney to go see Clutch.
You went
Yeah,
went to
no,
a concert. If we're gonna die, we're gonna have fun doing it.
pretty much.
That's always the best when it's like your favorite band and you finally get to see them. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
That
it
happened with
is.
Clutch, and then I saw Electric Wizard in St. Pete in an outdoor venue, 2019. It was a great one. I'll say the weather's getting cold, but Florida cold, so you can still like shorts and a hoodie, and Electric Wizard's playing outside. So it felt like fall weather, but
It was like 70 degrees.
it's like yeah, low 70s.
Like,
That was one of the heaviest shows I've seen. I went to the back of it's like a big courtyard, so I went to the back of the courtyard and I could still feel the bass like rumbling between Clutch and Electric Wizard. That was the two best shows I've ever seen. And we just saw Clutch at the same venue last August.
okay, so those are your number two live shows. Katie, what do you say?
Oh man. I am a little biased, but I have to say Iron Maiden was one of my absolute all-time favorite live shows. It was totally just random happenstance. A friend was like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "Nothing." "Oh, well, my friend bailed out, got tickets to Iron Maiden." "Yes." "So yes, I'm going. Like, where's the tickets?" "Yes, I will be there." So I got to see Iron Maiden, and I mean, it was just a phenomenal. I mean, the theatrics, the costumes, the backdrop, the everything, and
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie, and I think the other thing too is Bruce Dickinson is a very accomplished individual. I mean, he's a pilot. He's got a brewery. He has a PhD. He's a very well-rounded individual, and that person kind of got me influenced to okay, well, if he was able to accomplish all of this and be in one of the biggest metal bands ever, I can go back to nursing school. So that's actually how I got my bachelor's. I put two and two together and was like, no, he can do it. I can do anything too. So
Well, that and like seeing him on stage, he's doing this all night.
The big flag.
Yeah, running around, and I'm like, you're how old now? You're like 60? Oh my God. So
Yeah.
it
And
was
it's like he's never out of breath and the whole band just keeps going.
yeah, and to me, it was just phenomenal to see everything put on like that. Oh God, it's hard to say. I think what the other band that
Clutch.
yeah, Clutch was amazing too. I mean, what impresses me about Clutch is the fact that it's a whole different crowd of people there. I mean, there's, goth kids, there's like the crazy old redneck guys. I mean, there's just everybody there, but they're all enjoying the music and the band. They haven't really had any member changes ever. And they are on point and they change their set list every single night. I mean, there's some nights I'd play the same song for months on end and I'd still slip up. And it was the same set list the whole time. These guys change it up every single show and they still pull it off flawlessly. Like that is true musical talent and professionalism at its finest. So that's the next best show that I've seen because of that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Those are all really good bands. I'd really like to see Electric Wizard. I've not seen them.
It was a good show. It was they did three legs of the US tour. One was, California, the West Coast, right in the middle of the country was the second, and they just happened to start the third leg in St. Pete. And I saw it like a couple weeks before on Facebook, an ad, and I had no idea. So I bought tickets right away. My boss, I was working at a pizza shop. He let me leave work early on a Friday because he's about the same age as me. So he was, yeah, just go to the show. So, all right, packed up, went to St. Pete.
Hell yeah.
I actually with Electric Wizard a couple times, but when I was doing a lot of festivals, we didn't really get a chance to see any bands because we had to leave and go back to the hotel or some weird reason. Like maybe I think we had to leave directly after to go to the next country. So there was a lot of bands that I played. When I was at Crowbar, we played Hellfest, Nova Rock. I think it was in Austria. When we stopped playing, we heard Soundgarden in the distance on the other stage. So played festivals with the bands, but I didn't get to see a lot of the bands. I heard them from a distance, but unfortunately never got to see them at the shows.
Pros and cons, right? Like, yeah, I played with them.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but I was there.
I played with Electric Wizard until I was reading the poster like a couple years later. Like, oh wow, it was Electric Wizard was at that same festival. Awesome. I
That's
think it
funny.
was, yeah,
Oh,
Spotlights is playing Hellfest this year, which is super cool.
awesome. Yeah,
oh,
that's
nice.
they'll do good out there. That's one of my favorites. Really want to get back over there to play that one. France, Desert Fest, Bloodstock in England.
Yeah.
I'll go play anywhere.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Spot
ac
good over there.
I'm applying to be a presenter at Bloodstock.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, I hope you get it. That'll be sick.
Oh, for sure. As long as they'll pay for me to go over there.
Yeah,
True.
that's a fun festival.
Yeah,
Not as big as Hellfest or anything, but I mean, it's still a big festival. But they have it organized really well. It
I think
was 14. I was there.
now catering over there for bands, over in Europe is just
Yeah,
It's
everything.
yeah,
level. That's usually what I use to explain to people. I mean, I've had some amazing catering in the States, but I always tell people, picture it like this, the US. Here's a half-eaten $5 hot and ready pizza. Enjoy. And then in Europe, oh, we've got a breakfast spread of meats and cheeses and vegan options and fresh orange juice and then wait, we've got lunch options, and that's like wow, like it's the whole. I mean, totally different world because they get funding for the arts over there, so that's probably why it's a totally different environment, and that's why we like it so much.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I would like to see us in the States treat our artists a lot better too.
It's very difficult, especially because we're some people are very fortunate. Some friends I know in the music industry have been very fortunate to just solely do music and succeed doing that. But that's a huge leap of faith. Just doing it in that regard, we're relatively playing it safe, having normal jobs, and it's basically the normal job is to fund our musical endeavors.
yeah.
But
But I'll leave that normal job in a second to go back to her full time.
there's always
I
a
will,
need.
not her. She's got her new spot that she
Well,
enjoys, and I like my job too. But music's something I've always wanted to do, and we're gonna make it happen. But now it seems like the way the industry or the world is now, we can't really. Ever since COVID, kind of you can't really go out full time right away.
It's definitely a lot more challenging, especially, post COVID. So I'm on the board for a music festival here locally, and what we've noticed is like pre-COVID, we would have a ton of like pre-sales, right? So up until a month before the festival, we probably sold the majority of our tickets. And now the majority are sold within a week of gates,
Yeah,
wow,
you know?
that's that's drastic.
Yeah.
people, it's still going on, or
Yeah, you don't know, right? Is everyone going to get sick? Is there going to, especially now, there's so much weather, right? Like,
Mhm.
what's going to happen? Are we going to have a tornado or is it going to be a bad storm? I mean,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Florida might hit 45 degrees like this morning.
panic
Yeah.
mode. Yeah.
God, I'd have been happy with 45 today.
Where's how cold is it where you're at?
Right now it's probably 16 or 17.
Oh no, thank you.
That's more than
Too much.
more than
Too
heat.
cold. Yeah. Too cold.
I wouldn't
No.
say
Yeah,
it's the heat that'll get you, it's the humidity.
It's the-
yeah. It's the humidity. Yeah. Well, we're in a valley and it's the Ohio Valley, and Ohio Valley is known for the amount of mold. Like all the humidity and everything is right here. So like if you don't have allergies and you come here, you're going to be allergic.
Yeah. So
Sounds
it
about
really is the
right.
humidity then.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm
Yeah.
like, um,
I can't. Ever since I got hurt, I fell through part of a ceiling end of 2022, and it kind of like activated arthritis. They said so. Even just that, I say colder weather, but even 50 degrees still.
You feel
I feel
it.
like that old Florida guy. Like my arthritis hurts. So, and I'm from Connecticut, so I dealt with blizzards for just about 30 years, but now even like 50 degrees, nope.
yeah, now you're just spoiled.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I know I am. I've gotten stuck in a few blizzards on tour, and that was not a good experience. But I mean, at least I never had to live in perpetual snowy weather, so I've been lucky about that. But
Yeah.
I'm still I like the weather here.
That's yeah. Well, especially I like Florida's weather in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Right
this
now
is
it's good.
ideal.
I
Yeah.
think today it hit maybe 70. Yesterday was a
But yeah,
little 72, 73.
probably.
That's like ideal temperature.
And there's no humidity right now, so it's comfortable. Especially like I'm doing home inspections. I got to go in attics, and it's not that bad up there. Wait like another month or two, and it looks like I fell in the pool when I came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be like first week of summer, you're like, I just lost 15 pounds.
Pretty much, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
miss that. So I know you guys are talking about releasing singles. Are you planning on doing vinyl singles or just releasing them digitally?
just digitally. Vinyl would probably be something later on once we kind of get more traction. Right now, since it's solely a DIY kind of thing, we're just kind of testing the waters. And like I said, with the way we're releasing stuff, it's a social experiment in a way. We're following the trends and seeing if it's going to be effective or not. We don't know. We're hoping it is, of course, but we're looking at merchandising other stuff differently later on. But right now, just digitally, I think is going to be the way we're going to go.
Okay. Well, that sucks. I like vinyl. Uh,
Yeah,
Well, someday maybe, but
yeah.
yeah, doing the same thing. I'll release these all like week by week, and then see how it goes, and maybe do like a limited vinyl run of the first EP. It's called "And the Pillars Shook." Um, it's actually both of them are movie references. "Blood of the Earth" and "The Pillars Shook" are both from a movie Big Trouble in Little China, which was one
Okay.
of my favorite movies growing up. So there's a couple different scenes where they use those two phrases, but I rearranged part of it.
mm,
Um, at the end, he says, "We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we?" And some reason I always wanted to call an EP "And the Pillars Shook" because of that line. So now here we are.
That's a really great like inspiration. You take something from a movie.
Yep.
God, what was that? That was released like mid 80s or something, right?
86 maybe. Like I was a
classic
little kid
80s
watching it. Yeah.
movie. It's wild.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
Squad are my favorite movies. And I think 2016, 2017 is when I came up with the idea of the band name and the album name, and I just held on to it and finally got to put it to use last year.
Everything in its own time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
good.
the one thing that it kind of shifted from the Big Trouble in Little China idea. I mean, that, like I said, that movie's wild. I love it too. But he mentioned like tarot cards and as the pillar shook. So I got this crazy idea in my head, which is actually working out so far, to have tarot card like designs for each of the songs. And I decided to be crazy and take it a step further and attempt to do stop motion animation with some of the images. And I've successfully been able to do 2 out of the 6. And I have 4 more images that I need to draw and animate. It's going to be small little clips, but like you said at the beginning, it's content. You got to have good content for things to get noticed on social media nowadays. So I thought, well, that is, I haven't seen any really badly drawn stop motion animation in a long time. So why not fill that gap and put it with our music? Get that content, get something totally different that is not really seen anymore, and something that is a DIY, something that's doable. We don't have to get a digital creator. We don't have to get anybody, with fancy stuff to do it. I've been just taking pictures in the kitchen and rearranging the pictures and click and rearrange and click, and then I just loop all the pictures together and make a moving motion image.
That that's a awesome idea, right? Because you're right. We're so caught up in like the high tech of it all. You know, now you've got with Samsung and iPhone cameras, you can do like huge cinematic like films with your phone.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's crazy how that's a possibility. So we're
Yeah.
kind of DIYing it up and just keeping it relatively old school in that way. We're trying to get, like I said, we're getting some video footage together to, have some visual stuff with each one of the songs. And Jeff flies drones. So I've been kind of stealing some of his videos that he's done over the past year. And I'm like, I'm using this one for this part. I'm using this one for this part of the song. So we're using a lot of the video footage he's created. We're using the art that I've kind of scribbled and drawn together. So I feel like it's like, yes, it's coming together. And I really can't wait for people to see what we're working on, and can't wait for people to hear what we're working on too. So
Yeah, I can't wait either. I think people are really going to enjoy it.
I think we'll
Yeah.
probably be releasing the first one. The first song is called The Path. That's the one that has like bagpipe samples. I guess you want to call it samples.
yeah, samples.
Like,
I don't play bagpipes, so
yeah,
yeah,
so
it's definitely a sample.
he's controlling them on the keyboard, but so it's starts off with bagpipes and then reminds me of like a Celtic kind of feel to it. That's when I wrote that riff. So in my head, that's what I was thinking. Um, so we'll release that probably within a couple of weeks, I would think.
Yeah, it should be good to go within probably first week of February.
Yeah, that was aiming for February to release it, and then we'll just do
Stagger
probably
it
one a
in.
week. So we have the path, and they all start with it's the whole tarot card, like the path, the neurotic, was it the constellations, the void, the
Mhm.
origins, and the faces. So that's kind of like the theme of the first EP.
So is the cover art going to be like a big tarot card also?
We're not
Um,
sure yet. Oh, great.
I'm gonna show you real
Yeah,
quick.
there's that shirt over there too. Um, might use one of the pictures I took when I was in Crowbar. We went to the Bone Church in Czech.
Oh
I took
yeah.
pictures and left. And my computer just got stolen about a month ago. Lost all my artwork and a lot of my, photos from tour because the hard drive was in the bag too, unfortunately. But I did have this one. Was one of the. I don't know if you can see or not.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was like a real. I turned a black and white picture and then converted it to that so I could actually print it in the garage. So we're thinking that might be the cover for it. This will be one of those shirts. We'll get your info and sizes, and we'll send you up one. We'll do the next batch of them, which will probably be next week or so.
Hell yeah.
And these are the pillars that are going to be shaken. And this an idea of some of the artwork that I'm drawing together. And as you can see, it's kind of like how they did in old school South Park. They would take cutouts and move them, and that's essentially how I was able to figure this out. And this is one of the scenes for the path. And this is where I did some animation and the movement for it. And I'm glad that I tried this. I'm attempting it, and it's turning out pretty well with my idea. I'm happy with the way it's going, and I'm glad that you just said a few words, and it just sparked that idea in my head, and I just ran with it.
And she's got the patience to draw one thing and then draw something else with just a couple different lines.
And then move it, and then move it again.
Yeah.
Like not me. I got ADHD too bad.
I do more like the graphic design stuff. That's what I have a degree in. I want to get back into doing that too. So I'll do more of the digital stuff, and she likes to do more of the actual drawings.
Creativity at its best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I like about this project, because it just, hey, let's try this. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Oh, hey, let's try this. Oh, all right, sure. Let's do that. Like, we have free reign to get wild with it. I never thought I'd be doing stop motion animation. I never thought I'd be doing drums, but here we are.
Yeah.
Well, you look at stop motion animation like claymation with Tool.
Yeah.
That worked out really well for them.
Yeah, and Tool, yeah, is definitely one of my biggest influences as well musically, because I grew up listening to them. A Perfect Circle. I guess you went more the hardcore New England music route, and I went more the weird, trippy, industrial, other type of music. But yeah, definitely their music videos were very unnerving and very odd, and I think that that kind of influenced me in my mind visually of what I'd like to go for in a way. I mean, I can't do claymation. That I wouldn't even know where to start with that. So I'm starting with the basics.
You just don't have enough faith in yourself. I have faith in you.
So album 2. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
so
get back to you on that.
That'd be hilarious. Album 2 comes out, everything's claymation. Like,
Okay. Well,
We
like I said,
had,
album 2, I'll give it a try.
the first song for I guess what will be album 2 or EP 2
Mhm.
has that like desert rock feel to it, and we had this video of driving through mountains in El Paso that it would have worked perfect. But when my computer was stolen, they were on the computer, so we got to probably go back to El Paso and get some more videos.
darn.
I'm all right with that.
Make another trip.
Good old El Paso. Go up to Amarillo to the big Texan while you're over there.
Well, that's really not too much in Amarillo, but it's definitely, if you're passing through, that's something to see.
Yeah, the only thing is the big Texan, I think, in that area.
I mean, usually in like that panhandle area, there's, I mean, Lubbock, not much going on there. And usually the only two cities I'd ever even pass would be Odessa, Midland, but those aren't up in the panhandle. They're just kind of on route to Dallas,
Yeah.
going east.
We stopped in Amarillo back in July.
Oh, okay.
Not the smartest time to
Scalding hot
Texas
and
and
you're
July.
dying with the heat, huh?
yeah. Yeah, they've got like Cadillac Ranch there, which is cool.
I've seen that. I've been there. I've been there. Yep.
I haven't
Yep.
seen.
They there's actually a slug bug ranch too. I don't remember exactly where, but it's same concept, but it's with the old school VWs.
Oh, that's cool. I have to find that place.
Punch buggies, yeah.
Yeah. My wife was like, "We're gonna go do all the nerd stuff," and I'm like, "All right,
Cool.
That's
whatever."
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite shows that you guys did live. Like, which one created like the biggest memory for you?
Ooh, I can definitely say I think the biggest show was Blue Ridge Rock Fest. That was probably 20,000 people. I mean, we were on one of the big main stages. Usually, the Convalescence, I always felt that we were kind of more towards the side stages on these bigger festivals. But this one, we were on the big stage, and we had an amazing crowd response. And I don't normally get nervous because I've been, playing shows or playing the same songs, got it down to a routine. I was nervous. I was shaking that day because I could not see where the crowd ended. I could not find an end to the crowd. There were just so many people. And when one band ended, they all shifted over and stared at us. And I was like, oh my God. Whew. So
All
that one was amazing.
right on. All that hard work, right? It pays off.
It does, for that moment of being in front of that audience and they're just absolutely going batshit crazy over what you're doing. And you're like, I wrote this in someone's basement. Like, and they're going wild for it. Like, that is the most fulfilling feeling. And I cannot wait to have that again with this project. So
Right on. How about you, Jeff?
There's a bunch of them. Depends on what band I was in at the time. With Crowbar, we did a show. It wasn't even a festival. It was like the biggest stage construction in Europe. It was a German band. Now I don't know much about them. Some people dislike them, but like political stuff. I don't never heard of them before. um, they were called Bo's Uncles, and they reunited. I think it was like 9 or 10 years, and they had that stage built. So it was Crowbar, Limp Bizkit, and them. And there was, I think, 85,000 people in attendance on a Formula One racetrack where they had delay towers. So when we were doing sound check and the kick drum hit, you heard it firing off in the distance from one of the towers. And that was probably one of the only times I walked around the corner and I said, there's a lot of people here. I wasn't really nervous. I was just like kind of shocked. Like that's a lot of people out there. So that was fun. And then doing like Hellfest was my favorite one, Bloodstock, and then Desert Fest, the ones we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Um, but then with 6 Feet Under, we did a show at this place called, I think it's East Club or Club East, East Club. It's in Germany. You guys were on that show. It was just a smaller club in the basement, but everybody's kind of like pushed up against the stage, so there's no barricade. It's just kind of reminded me of the old Connecticut shows, like the hardcore shows, where people were allowed to get up that close, and no one, everyone was just having fun. There was no worrying about anything, just playing the show. That was in December 2019. Bishop's Warda, I think that town was called.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
East
Okay.
Club,
Yeah.
Club East. I gotta look at the poster, see what the venue's called. I played there a couple times, but that's the one that stands out the most. And then New Mexico with Goatwhore. I filled in for them for 5, supposed to be 6 shows, but our van broke down when I was when that would be done. We broke down in, I think, Houston, so I missed the Austin show and then met back up with Goatwhore in New Mexico, and that was probably one of my top favorite shows. It's luckily I was able to pull that video off of YouTube from my old account. We actually took that video. That would be done. Singer was taking the video, so I could send it to my mom so she could see it. So I got the video, pulled it off of YouTube, and now I actually have that back on my computer. So
Hell yeah.
that was fun. And then
Now you get to create more memories.
yeah, and Goatwhore was a funny situation because I've known Ben for years, even before I was in Crowbar or anything. We would just always see each other, like in Connecticut. I flew down to New Orleans to see some shows, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" It's like, "Oh, I'm here to watch this band." And then, fast forward a couple years later, I show up in California, and he looks at me, he's like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm on tour with you finally." So, and we always keep in touch. Every time they come through Tampa, we always go up to the show, hang out with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome band.
That was
Yeah.
where I enjoyed. We toured with Goatwhore in 2017 with Venoming, and they were, I think, one of my most favorite bands to be on tour with because, like I said, I was doing nursing school online at the time, and it's not easy to find a quiet space or to have time in between, show stuff, tour stuff to work on writing an essay. But they were always very like, oh, if you need a quiet space, go to the back of our green room, or oh, if you need this, let us know. They were very, very helpful and
Scholarly
like no, but no, that like that whole tour package, they were very helpful and they were very understanding about, oh yeah, you need to write that essay. When you're done with that essay, then we'll do shots of Jack. Finish your paper.
Right on. I'll tell you. So 2019, Goatwhore was playing with Battlecross at Diesel in Chesterfield, which is where Convalescence and Battlecross finished that Halloween weekend.
That was a cool venue. I miss playing there. I liked going there a lot.
Yeah. So my wife, who is a hippie, she goes to the show. It's like we've got our group of people, right? I think John was there and Dion and then my best friend Sam and his wife, and we go to the show and everyone gets drunk and Goatwhore takes the stage, and I grab my wife and I'm like, we're going right up. So we go right up and we're like TA side of the stage. And like I said, she's a hippie. And at first she's like, I don't know. They got off stage and she looks at me, she goes, holy shit, that was one of the best live shows I've ever seen. I love them.
Definitely.
I'm like, yes.
And they always bring a lot of high energy. Like every time we've seen them, it's always, I mean, they always play a good show and they always bring a lot of energy to the stage.
Yeah, they're always really kind too, right? When they're just out screwing around, preparing to play, like stop and chat with anyone, take a photo or whatever. It's always great.
Yeah, to me,
yeah.
those guys and Kyle from Exhorder are two of the like New Orleans guys that have always been like that. Every time I saw them, I became friends with them, and even after I left New Orleans after that whole situation, still always kept in touch with them. Go see them. We just saw Exhorder and Overkill come through, I think in July, so we met up with them at House of Blues, and then Goatwhore, I think we've seen 2 or 3 times in the last year.
About
So
yeah.
we'll always meet up with them. both of those
Right.
bands.
Right on. I think Exorder just recorded a video.
Yeah, they just released a new one.
Yeah, I think it was recorded in like Cincinnati.
Oh, was it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I saw a big thing go out. I've got a buddy who works with one of the Exorder guys.
Oh, I think
And
bass players out your way.
yeah, is that Jason?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in Cincinnati. So he works with
Okay.
Murphy, who plays guitar in War Curse and Blessed Black. Listen to Blessed Black. I think you guys will like them. They're
The name caught my attention. I was
Yeah.
like, that sounds cool. I like it.
yeah, they're the best way I know how to explain it is it's like this stoner doom with like hints of 80s new wave of British heavy metal.
Oh, cool.
Okay, yep. That
Yeah.
sounds like something I'd love. Yep.
Yeah, I just went and saw them play with Fairy Ring a couple months ago. Man, what a great fucking show that was.
What band was it?
Fairy Ring?
Fairy Ring.
I haven't heard them yet.
Okay, I'll have to look them up too. There's a lot of bands that I feel like I've been sleeping on. I just haven't, kept up to date with a lot of newer bands or newer things being released. So I feel like I need to do a deep dive into that sometime soon so I can,
Well,
listen to newer stuff.
Is it Blessed Black and Fairy Rings?
Fairy Ring. FAERIE.
Okay, cool.
So I saw those guys. I went to see Paul Bearer in June, and Fairy Ring opened.
I've heard Paul Bearer before.
Oh yeah, I love those dudes too. The Fairy Ring is like, in my mind, it's what the Sword would be if they were really good. And I like the Sword. I just like Fairy Ring a lot more.
I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah. Good shit. Okay. So first week of February, we're looking at a release for the single. I am going to hold both of you to that.
Well, now I guess we have a deadline. Oh crap. Okay.
Deadline.
Now we do have a deadline.
We have, almost 5 of them done now, so we want to start getting them out there. I kind of wanted to release them all at the same time, but Katie had the idea of staggering them. I guess that's what the kids do now. So
I'm still learning.
yeah, we'll try see how it goes.
I am not the TikTok generation, but I am trying my hardest to figure it out.
I'll tell you, don't release the whole song the first week. Just release like 20 seconds of it.
That's kind of what I've been doing for since Halloween. I think on Halloween night released the 30 seconds of the path.
Yeah.
And I was doing one a week. Now it's time where we got to release the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, now you can do it a minute. Here's a whole minute of it.
Here's almost the whole song.
Almost.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. I don't know about you guys. It's getting late for me.
Wow, yeah, it's already 9. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. 9. It's like my bedtime.
I got up early today, so yeah, I'll probably be passing out sometime in the next 5 minutes.
Rock and roll. So with it getting late, I just want to say thank you. I greatly appreciate both of you taking time out of your day to spend chatting with me about the band. Really looking forward to hearing full songs here in a couple of weeks, and seeing what you guys do. I will be an avid supporter.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And this was our first official Blood of the Earth video or interview. So
fuck yeah.
Starting to roll.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having us. This was a lot of fun. We appreciate it.
For sure. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot of shit, and the way you two feed off each other is fucking fantastic. I think the band's going to do great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hopefully getting at least a guitar player, because we can always do like the Godflesh route and just do electronic drums for the shows until we get that rolling. But we at least need that guitar player to make the full sound.
Yep.
Well, no, you kind of don't. So you've got bass and keys, right? Like, so Misfits did the.
If it gets too long, if we we can't find someone to play, we might just be a 2-piece.
We might, yeah.
Just have
At
to do some
some
backing
point,
tracks.
I'll figure out how to backtrack everything and
Yeah.
then just press a button and there we go.
Yeah.
They,
Make it easier too.
Yep.
the set's always the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
The drums to carry in. Why not?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Every time. That's the only problem. Got to be perfect.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night, and thanks again for chatting with me.
Thanks for
No,
having
take
us.
care.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.